IYA BASIRAT's kitchen, the secrets that lies within. A quick recap of IYA BASIRAT's kitchen, and this started in the village of Ila Orogun, and there has been rumors for weeks, and this village has gone abuzz. IYA BASIRAT's restaurant had grown in popularity, attracting not only villagers, but people from neighboring towns. Her dishes, delectable, flavorful, and unique, had a way of drawing crowds, and soon whispers began. Some believed her success came from just her skills, while others were convinced that she had diabolical help. What few knew was that IYA BASIRAT's secret lay in a recipe book handed down from her mother, as she earlier told the villagers. The book was old, its pages yellowed and worn, but the recipes inside were unlike any other. Little did anyone know, the power within those recipes came at a cost. And today, IYA BASIRAT would learn the full price of her success. Also recap that the village chief priest, Baba Agba, had requested to see IYA BASIRAT. The sun had barely begun to set when IYA BASIRAT rushed to the chief priest's palace because he had requested her presence. Her heart raised at the thought. Baba Agba was a man of immense wisdom, feared and respected by all. His summons was not just to be taken lightly. Clutching the old recipe book close to her chest, IYA BASIRAT made her way through the village, her steps heavy with anticipation. The evening air was thick with the scent of cooking fires, but as she passed the villagers, they whispered in hushed tones, their eyes following her every move. She could feel the weight of their suspicions. IYA BASIRAT finally arrives Baba Agba's hut, which was dark, illuminated only by flickering candles. The air inside was thick with the smell of burning herbs. As IYA BASIRAT stepped into the dimly lit space, Baba Agba sat across on a mat, his staff resting beside him. His deep eyes, knowing what laid in the recipe book, met hers, and for a moment, IYA BASIRAT felt like a child again, standing before an elder with too many questions and too few answers. Baba Agba says, "Sit, IYA BASIRAT." IYA BASIRAT obeyed, lowering herself on the mat before him, this recipe book resting in her lap. Baba Agba's gaze flickered down to the book and then back to her. Baba Agba says, "I hear the village has taken quite an interest in your food," he began, his voice measured. "But it is not just the taste they speak of. They speak of power, of something more than mere cooking. Tell me, IYA BASIRAT, what is in that book?" IYA BASIRAT's hand shook as she gripped the book tighter. How much does Baba Agba knows? Was he testing her, or had the villagers whispered something into his ears? IYA BASIRAT was nervous, and her voice was trembling. This book, it holds the recipes passed down from my mother and her mother before me. It is simply food, nothing more, says IYA BASIRAT. Baba Agba's eyes narrowed, gazing at IYA BASIRAT, a penetrating gaze. And Baba Agba says, "Do not lie to me, Basirat. Your mother came to me before she passed the book on to you. She knew the power of those recipes and she sought my guidance. But I guess she never told you. Did she?" IYA BASIRAT's heart pounded in her chest. This was the first time she had ever heard of her mother seeking Baba Agba's counsel. What had her mother hidden from her? IYA BASIRAT started to ponder. Baba Agba says to IYA BASIRAT, "Those recipes are not just food. Each dish, each ingredient holds significant power. Your ancestors bound their essence to those recipes. They infused the food with their power. But there is a balance that you have disturbed by serving too many dishes." IYA BASIRAT's eyes widened in disbelief. She had thought the book was just her family's legacy, a way to honor her mother's memory. But Baba Agba's words sent a shiver down her spine. And IYA BASIRAT says, I didn't know. I thought it was just food." Baba Agba says to IYA BASIRAT, "No, it is not just food. Each time you prepare those dishes, you draw on the power of your ancestors. But power comes at a price, Basirat. The more you serve, the more you take from them, and the more they demand in return." What is Baba Agba talking about? What do they want from return? Who wants something in return? What has IYA BASIRAT gotten herself into? IYA BASIRAT felt her hands tremble as she opened the book, flipping through the pages that once seemed so ordinary to her, just a recipe book. But now, the words on the pages seemed to hum with energy she had never noticed before. Each recipe was not just a formula for food, but a ritual, a spiritual invocation. Baba Agba continued, "Your mother came to me because she feared what the power in that book could do. She knew that if it was used recklessly, the balance between the living and the dead would be broken. IYA BASIRAT, you have served too many. The spirits of your ancestors are restless, and they are coming to collect what is old." IYA BASIRAT felt the cold sweat break on her forehead. The spirits of her ancestors? Could it be true? She had always thought of them as guidance, watching over her and blessing her business. But now, what is it Baba Agba speaks of? Was what Baba Agba was telling her something to be worried about? And what do they want in return? IYA BASIRAT says, What? What do they want?" IYA BASIRAT says, still afraid. Baba Agba's eyes darkened as he spoke the words that would haunt IYA BASIRAT for the rest of her life. Baba Agba says, they want your life, Basirat. Every dish you serve takes a piece of your spirit. The more you serve, the more they take. Soon, there will be nothing left of you but an empty shell. IYA BASIRAT felt a lump form in her throat. How could this be? She had worked so hard to build her business, to honor her mother's memory and legacy. And now, she was being told that every dish she prepared was draining her life away. IYA BASIRAT stood abruptly, the recipe book clutched tightly in her hands. IYA BASIRAT says, there must be something I can do. There must be another way. I can't stop serving. I can't. Baba Agba says, it's too late, Basirat. The spirits are already watching. They have already begun to take what is theirs. In that moment, IYA BASIRAT's leg buckled beneath her. She collapsed on the floor, the book falling from her grasp. A sharp pain shot through her chest, as if something was being ripped from within her. She gasped for breath, her vision blurring. Baba Agba says to her, you feel it now, don't you? The drain, the pull of your ancestors. They will not stop until they have taken what they want and you have given all you have. IYA BASIRAT clutched her chest, her heart racing. How had she not noticed it before? The tiredness, the weakness that had been crippling in over the past few months. She had brushed it off as the price of hard work. But now, she knew the truth. Every time she cooked, she gave a part of herself away. With shaking hands, she picked up the recipe book once more. She flipped through the pages, searching for some kind of solution, some way to stop the spirit from taking more. But the pages held nothing but recipes, no answers, no salvation. Her eyes blurred with tears as she realized the truth. There was no way out. Baba Agba says to IYA BASIRAT, the only way to stop this is to pass the book on, Basirat. But be warned, whoever takes it will inherit the same burden. The cycle will continue. What will IYA BASIRAT do? IYA BASIRAT's hands trembled as she closed the book. She couldn't pass this curse on to anyone else. She couldn't condemn another to the same fate. But if she kept the book, the spirit will consume her. There was only one thing left to do. With a heavy heart, IYA BASIRAT stood and walked towards the fire in Baba Agba's hut. The flames fickled and danced, casting shadows on the wall. She held the book over the fire, her hands shaking. Baba Agba asked, are you sure, Basirat? IYA BASIRAT nodded, her face set in determination. While one final deep breath, she let go of the book. The flames roared to life as the ancient pages caught fire. The book burnt and the power within them consumed by the heat. As the book burned, IYA BASIRAT felt a weight lift up from her shoulders, a strange sense of peace settling over her. The spirit had been appeased, but as she stood there, watching the book turn to ash, she couldn't shake the feeling that the price had not yet been fully paid. The secrets of IYA BASIRAT's kitchen had been buried in the flames, but some secrets never stay hidden for long. A tale of IYA BASIRAT's kitchen, filled with lessons learned. Kindly comment the lessons learned in the comment section. Do not forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share with family and friends.